Days after the release of the redacted Mueller report, some Democrats are considering the option of impeachment. But today, the president said he's not worried. This comes as his team pushes back against other congressional investigations into his business dealings. CBS News' Nicole Killian reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump is suing House Oversight Chairman Elijah Cummings to block a subpoena that seeks years of the president's financial records. The lawsuit argues Article 1 of the Constitution does not contain an investigations clause or an oversight clause. Cummings issued the subpoenas earlier this month.
I think we need to look at the finances of this president.
Democrats are trying to figure out what to do next in the wake of the Mueller report. They'll hold a conference call today where possible impeachment is likely to be discussed.
If proven, some of this would be impeachable, yes.
All right.
Obstruction of justice, if proven, would be impeachable.
And you're going to go about to see if you can prove it?
Well, we're going to see where the facts lead us.
More Democrats now say impeachment is the way to go.
We have a Constitution of the United States, and it says when a president engages in this kind of activity, then it's time for impeachment.
Republicans say the Mueller report vindicates the president and proves there are no grounds for impeachment.
There was no collusion. It isn't there. Not a scintilla of evidence supports that. So it's time to move on.
President Trump agrees. He tweeted, "Only high crimes and misdemeanors can lead to impeachment. There were no crimes by me, no collusion, no obstruction, so you can't impeach. It was the Democrats that committed the crimes, not your Republican president." Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Ryan Grimm is the D.C. bureau chief at the Intercept. He joins me now from Washington. Ryan, welcome. Thanks for being with us. Republican Congressman Doug Collins got a look at a less redacted version of the Mueller report, and here's what he said about it afterwards. Let's listen.
Nothing that I saw today at the end of the day, though, changed Mr. Mueller's decisions. Nothing that went any further, except we had no collusion after a long and thorough investigation. We have no obstruction. It was charged. There's nothing there. Nothing per day changes those results from last week. However, I do encourage my colleagues, the Democrats, who have asked for transparency, who have asked for access, to actually come here and do so. To not come here and take advantage of the Attorney General and his offer, to me, says that they're not more worried about what's in the report. They're more worried about actually scoring political points and taking something that this is not anymore.
Now, top Democrats have declined to see a less redacted copy. So what is the reasoning behind that?
Well, the public and private reasons, but the public one would be that they don't want it to seem like the Attorney General is conceding to them what they want. They want the entire report, the entire unredacted report, and so they're not going to accept anything less than that.
Meanwhile, President Trump's lawyer, Jay Sekulow, addressed their lawsuit against House Judiciary Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings, and he says, quote, "We will not allow congressional presidential harassment to go unanswered." What don't they want Congress to get access to exactly?
Well, this does raise some interesting questions about what the congressional role of oversight, but House Democrats are trying to get a look at Donald Trump's finances. And, a lot of people on the left have said since the very beginning of this investigation that this is a much more fruitful avenue for Democrats to go down than trying to find a PP tape or trying to find some evidence of Putin and Trump, secretly meeting and colluding over the 2016 election, but instead to look at the kind of bland, run-of-the-mill corruption and criminality on which his entire business empire appears to be built. And so that's what they're going after here, is they're trying to dig into his finances. And the way that they would tie it into a Mueller report is to say, okay, well, where are you getting all of your financing? Because American banks long ago stopped working with Trump because he was a famous credit risk. He walked away from a number of different projects, declared bankruptcy 4 times. And so major American banks just decided this is not somebody that we're going to do business with. And so he had to go abroad to foreign lenders, Deutsche Bank and others. And so then the question is, okay, if he's now in debt to all of these people around the globe, what strings are they able to pull? And what does Congress need to know about how compromised financially the president is?
So that's the real road to sort of any information that might be damaging to the president. So the president was asked about possible impeachment calls at the White House Easter egg roll today, and he said he wasn't even a little bit concerned. We do know that Senator Elizabeth Warren is calling on Congress to start impeachment proceedings. What are the chances at this point that other Democrats running for president might join Elizabeth Warren?
I mean, you'll probably see a few. You've got 19 of these folks out there running, so you can pretty much put up, any type of chum in the water, and you're gonna get a couple to bite. I think what a lot of them ought to be asked is, like Warren, have you read the report? What is your opinion of what is found in the report? And that's what's unusual about Elizabeth Warren here. She sat down and she read this entire report, and then she came to a rule of law conclusion. She's a law professor, and she decided that this was a fairly open and shut case of criminality on the part of the president. And if you don't pursue that because you think the politics aren't right or for whatever other reason, then you are just giving up one of the checks that Congress has, and you're slowly dismantling the rule of law as it relates to the balance of powers between Congress and the White House. So for her, she put it out there as a principle, and there isn't a lot of pressure on Democrats running for Congress, because voters out there care much more about beating Trump, and they care about issues like the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, free college, etc., than they care at this point about impeaching Trump. But there is a rule of law question that is probably going to be put to a lot of different candidates on the trail.
That is a very good point, actually, the rule of law question. And if you are a lawyer, as Elizabeth Warren is, whether you can, turn a blind eye to that for political reasons. You make a very good point. So Warren also unveiled a student loan forgiveness plan today that she says would cancel up to $50,000 of debt for more than 42 million Americans. Are impeachment talks overshadowing some of the other stuff that Democrats want to do for 2020?
I mean, there's always something that overshadows policy discussions. So it's not as if you remove that all of a sudden the rest of the media is going to dive right into the details of a free tuition and a debt forgiveness plan. There's always a cruise ship somewhere that's stuck, or something else that is going to take up some of that auction. So I don't quite buy that the impeachment talk crowds the rest of that out. There have been plenty of opportunities for the media to dig into a lot of different proposals that Elizabeth Warren has put out, and they've just declined the opportunity so far to do so. And I don't think you can chalk that up to impeachment or Mueller or anything else.
All right, Ryan Graham from The Intercept, we thank you.
You got it.